Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Leadership Center's workshop on organizational change. We are going to talk all about what organizational change is, how it's important, as well as strategies that you can help manage organizational change. Thank you all for joining me. My name is Andrea Specht. I'm one of the SLCs here at the Leadership Center. Today, we're going to go over what is change, acknowledging change, how it's important, why it's important, as well as the strategies of change in organizations. So we're going to talk about what is change. What is change overall? What is change within your organization? To start, we're going to participate in a word cloud activity. So if you could go to pollev.com/HaleyCorley731 to answer, I'd really appreciate it. All right, so our question for the word cloud is, how do you feel when you hear the word change? So think on it and put maybe 1, 2 words that you would think when you hear the word change. Someone said different, scared, difficult, hopeful, open, excited, minded, possibilities, new possibilities, newness, diverse. I like that one, diverse. Potential. Those are all great words. I'm so happy. Anxious, growth. Now, I think all those words are adequate and represent what we feel when we hear the word change. Change can mean so many different things to so many different people. It's not an easy thing to go through, but hopefully what we're going to talk about today will help you feel more comfortable with change and hopefully bring that mindset into the possibilities and growth that comes with change. Well, thank you all for participating in our word cloud activity. That really helped get an insight for how everyone's feeling today. So we'll get right into our presentation. So organizational change, by definition, as for the Harvard Business School, refers to the actions in which an organization alters a major component, such as culture, and the underlying technologies or infrastructure it uses to operate, or its internal process. Now, change is the only constant in our lives. It is an inevitable fact of life that occurs from our day to day, from our month to month, to our year to year, to 5 years to 5 years. Anything and everything is going to change. Change is absolutely the only constant. When change presents itself, though, there are 2 main ways where you can guide this shift. You can either face it at heads on, be accepting and opening, and view the change as a growth opportunity, or you can see it as an unfavorable occurrence and try to suppress and postpone that shift. Now, there are multiple different types of change, but we're going to talk about 4 types in this presentation. We have continuous change, discontinuous change, evolutionary change, and revolutionary change. Continuous change is a gradual adjustment of the environment of the organization. So this might be something that you don't take notice right away, where you might look at yourself 5 years back or look at the organization 5 years back and realize how far you've come without realizing it. Discontinuous change is a process that's not continuous, obviously, with the past or present direction of the organization. So it's something that hasn't happened in the past and hasn't happened in the future. Evolutionary change is slow-paced change, and its direction is indicated by the environment. So this is similar to continuous, but this just shows how organizations evolve over time. And then our revolutionary change. These are short transitional revolutions with an extended period of slow and gradual change. So one example of that can be COVID today. COVID is generally a revolutionary change. It hasn't happened before as discontinuous. So we're going to talk a little bit about that actually. So we're going to talk about acknowledging change. And the first part of acknowledging change is learning about the importance of it. So the importance of change. It can occur from one particular force that dominates over others. A new organizational value and a goal is established. This is a result of like the shift in priorities. So at one point you may prioritize maybe involvement of an organization, and then you may have to shift and change to maintaining your organization. It is a chance to optimize working performance of an organization, as well as an attempt to achieve an ideal state through a continuous process of goal setting, execution, evolution, and restructuring. Like I said, COVID is a huge change that has occurred for many organizations around campus. The global pandemic has brought a lot of new change and shift in how organizations are operating. Meetings and events have turned virtual, limited number of attendees for in-person activities, slash budget cuts and promotional opportunities, as well as many other changes to your organization. This shift is new and different to all, with minimal understanding of the possible outcomes. No one has experienced COVID before, and it's unlikely that we will experience something like this in the near future. I just want to have you guys don't have to answer this question, but I want you to think about how has COVID shifted your life, and how have you managed it and managed the change that COVID has brought about? Just kind of like keep that in the back of your head. Think of how you were able to manage your change within COVID.
Okay, my name is Arkila Metcalf, and I am a student leadership leader consultant, and I will be talking about why change is important. So one of the reasons change is important is because the global changing of the economy. The economy can impact organizations in both positive and negative ways, and can be very stressful. A strong economy and increasing demand for products and services will mean that companies must consider expansions that might involve the addition of staff and new facilities. These changes offer opportunities for staff, but also represents new challenges. So a way that we can use this here on campus is all the different organizations we have, and how like with COVID, as Andrea explained, how like COVID changed, the way organizations operate now, like whether it's a positive way or a negative way. And even here in the Leadership Center, like how we're doing our workshops through Zoom and YouTube. So that's another way you can look at it, not just in the economy. Another thing about why change is important is because change means growth opportunities. So from the Business Partner magazine, the importance of change in business environment allows employees to learn new skills, explore new opportunities, and exercise their creativity in ways that ultimately benefit the organization throughout new ideas and increased commitment. Preparing employees to deal with these changes involves an analysis of the tools and training required to help them learn new skills. Training can be provided through traditional class settings or increasingly throughout online learning opportunities, which again, with COVID, I feel like we've all went through this, learning new skills. Most of us are visual learners, most of us are hands-on learners, and everyone's like now going to, everything is online. So we had to adapt to these changes in order to grow and continue our education. So some strategies for change in organizations. Our first one would be planning carefully. So before bringing the change, make sure you have a clear plan: when, how, why. Craft a fully developed timeline. I know a lot of people, you don't like change without knowing, the purpose of it or why we're making this change. So just having some type of layout, some type of agenda or calendar, to show the process of why the change is going on, or like exactly when the change will start. Be as transparent as possible. One of the tricky parts about organization change is that it will often arrive in phases or will involve a level of confidentially on the part of management team or certain individuals. Even if you can't give them all of the details, being upfront about the pieces you can share and clearly explaining their impact will go a long way towards helping your staff feel comfortable. So it sounds easy to make a plan or to introduce that change will happen, but you never know what tomorrow holds or even what the change might be. So giving them an idea like, oh, this may happen, like with COVID, none of us expected this. None of us still know how tomorrow will turn out. So just like, yes, we live in a world where you don't know what goes on tomorrow. So just having some type of idea or putting like a little bug, I would say, into the air of something is going to change. So communicate. I feel like communicate is a big one that helps change happen. Keep the lines of communication open between you and your employees or your peers within your organizations. Take the time to explain why the change is happening and what it will look like in the practice. Make yourself open to questions, hold team meetings, and invite your reports to come see you and talk through their concerns and thoughts in a neutral atmosphere. Provide training. So shifts in technology or processing, whether it's classes, as we stated before, classes or just like little online workshops that you can do to help people be more comfortable with changing, mastering new ways to contribute, and how to deal with different generations and audience is another way that change always happens. Because in a workshop I had before, we talked about generational leadership and how like now we have many generations in the workplace. So just being able to be diverse and being open-minded to new ideas from other people is another way that we see change in the economy and in our organizations. And don't expect change to happen overnight. Some people take longer to adapt. Give them time to familiarize themselves with new ideas and processes, and it gives employers or leaders more time to answer and address things before the change happens. So just having, like we stated before, having phases and steps to increase the change or to make it more of a natural habitat instead of something that just automatically come at one time and everyone's confused. So don't expect it to just happen in a little time. And demonstrate leadership. So be open-minded and flexible, demonstrate strategic thinking, and show your team that they have your best interests at heart. And also tying that in with the communicating and being open to questions and encouraging things to help them through the process. Okay, so this is our survey. So if you can scan the QR code, it's just a few questions about the workshop, how well you enjoyed it, and just give us feedback for workshops to come. So if you can scan this, it is anonymous, but it will put you, I believe, into a raffle for giveaways, I believe. So if you can take time out to do this survey for us.
Yeah, if you fill out the survey, there's a separate section, and if you put your email in that separate part of the survey, you'll also be entered into our fall raffle. So every event that you attend for the Leadership Center this month gives you an entry into this survey or into this raffle. So I'll give you another minute. And if the QR code isn't working for you, I also have the link that I can share. Okay, and then great job, Arkila and Andrea. My name is Haley. I'm the graduate assistant at the Leadership Center. So I just wanted to go ahead and plug some of our events and explain the Leadership Center space as a whole. So at Kent State, we are very blessed to have our own Leadership Development Center, which is a physical space on campus. It is on the second floor of the Student Center. And right now, even though it doesn't look the same as usual because of COVID, we do have tables in there where you can go and study or eat lunch or meet in like very small groups. At Kent State, our Leadership Center does have its own philosophy. So we aspire to create critical learners, innovators, and adaptive problem solvers whose leadership exemplifies distinction. We develop students' leadership identity, capacity, and efficacy through our interdisciplinary university-wide leadership program based in strategic partnerships and high impact practices. We also have our own creed. So Kent State University believes that all individuals have the capacity to lead, so everyone at Kent State can be a leader and can attend our events and develop their leadership skills. And then this is our leadership model. I won't go too in depth, but we do have a 3-part model. So we believe that when intrapersonal, interpersonal, and community skills all come together, we can inspire change within our communities. We do have a few remaining fall 2020 SLC workshops. So on November 12th, we're going to be covering conflict resolution. And then on December 1st, we are going to be covering developing your own personal leadership philosophy. So if you enjoyed your workshop today, I would encourage you to come check out these 2 workshops that Arkila and Andrea will also be putting on later in the semester. And then Kent Talks. So our Kent Talks is a program designed to provide a place for discussion and transformational experiences for our students. Topics have covered race, microaggressions, politics, gender and sexuality, and intersection with faith. Our next Kent Talks will be Let's Talk Politics, and that is this Wednesday. It's at 4 p.m. So if you're interested in coming and learning about people's viewpoints on the political conversations going on right now on campus, feel free to join us. And then we do have 2 more lessons in leadership this semester. So our lessons in leadership are interview style on Instagram Live. So we are interviewing next Joshua Bellamy, who's the former president of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated on campus. And then on December 10th, we're interviewing Tiara Moore. So if you have questions about their leadership experiences or just want to learn more about how to get involved on campus and their personal experiences, feel free to hop on. And we do have our student leadership consultants. So Arkila and Andrea are the 2 individuals who put on today's workshop. The SLC Experience is a peer education leadership program that provides participants with intensive leadership education and training. So they facilitate all of our workshops, help around the office, kind of serve as like the student voice on our staff. So they are a really important part of our office. If you ever have interest in becoming an SLC, we'll have potential employment opportunities in the future. So be looking out for that, or feel free to email us. I'll drop our email if you ever have questions. And then lastly, our collegiate leadership competition. So this is actually a course that we offer in the spring. So the collegiate leadership competition, or CLC for short, creates a dynamic practice field where students can apply what they're learning in a context that stretches them to the boundaries of their leadership knowledge, skills, and abilities. The CLC makes leadership a real, tangible experience for future leaders. So if you enjoy learning about leadership, you are more than welcome to register for this 2-credit-hour course. Our registration is starting. I registered last night. So if you are interested in registering for this class, feel free to ask us any questions. It is a great opportunity for you to work as a team, and eventually at the end of the semester, we do compete against other teams from other schools. So a really great opportunity. And that is all we have for today. If you have any questions, or if you have even about the content or any of our programs, feel free to either unmute yourself or to drop them in the chat, and we'd be happy to answer. If you happen to be here for an SSP program or an FYE course, if you didn't register for the course or didn't register for our event and would like to earn credit, if you would just pop us your email in the chat so that we can make sure we get that all squared away for you to earn that credit. And we'll stick around too for any other questions.